Okay. All right. So you guys can still hear me, right? Right. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, great. Okay, then let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is our joint meetings of the member representatives and board of directors we do annually. We'll go through when we actually need to confirm quorum.
Yep. All right.
Member representatives quorum first.
All right. So I'm just going to confirm attendance. Do we have Andrea Ford? Marla Stewart?
Yes.
Carrie Berman?
Here.
Lori Medina?
Here.
Okay. Lori. Jennifer Yasumoto?
Here.
Tracy Belton? Tracy, you're not here? Say something. Trent Rohr? Trent, are you there? Claire Cunningham? Angela Shane?
Hey guys, I'm here.
Okay, Angela. Randy Morris?
I'm here.
Randy. Kelly Curtis?
Here.
Angela Struckman?
Good morning, I'm here.
Morning. All right. Region 2, do we have Nicole Williamson? Ann Watts? Corey Allen? Olivia Brian Cooper? Okay, Kathy Peterson? Kathy Peterson, are you here? Rachel Pena? Greg Geisler?
Yes. Here.
Okay, Ethan Dye?
Here.
Lori McGee?
Ethan was first one.
No.
We'll make sure he gets that designation.
I know.
I think you were the first one here. Yeah, well, that's true. They did let me in.
Lori McGee? David Nagra?
Yes, here.
Okay, hi David, you're here, but you're not eligible to vote today, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right, glad you're here still. All right, Annie Pocket. Annie Pocket. Chico's Zendejas. Jennifer Vasquez. Region 3, Shelby Boston. Elizabeth Kelly.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Renelle Brown.
Here.
Hi, Renelle. Laura Hawkins or Bill Wathen, are you the one to be here?
Bill's here. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Connie Beck. Rachel Dillman Parsons.
Here.
Jason Vial.
Here.
Did I say your last name right, Jason?
It's Vial, but close enough.
Vial. Okay. All right. I'll get it right next time. All right. Rachel Ebel Elliott.
I'm here.
Tom Sandage.
Here.
Deborah Wingate. Dwayne Green.
Present.
Patricia Barbary.
Here.
All right, Teresa Perlet. Teresa, say your last name for me.
Curiel.
Curiel, okay. All right, Liz Hamilton.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Region 4. Sanja Bugai. Okay. right, Anna Scott. Lito Murillo,
Here.
Wendy Osakapo,
This is Liz Montoya on behalf of Kings
I
County.
saw her.
you saw, oh, Sandra, are you there?
I saw her earlier on the screen.
Hey, this is Matt. Sonia might be on the call, in the chat, but they actually have a fire alarm going off right now, so she might not be able to come off.
Oh.
of-
I did see her earlier.
All right. Deborah Martinez. I'm sorry, was Wendy? I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Good morning. This is Liz Montoya on behalf of Kings County for Wendy.
All right, Deb, she's not eligible, okay. All right,
No, no,
Sorry, Deborah
I'm here. I'm sorry, my audio is having a problem. Sorry, this is Wendy. I apologize.
okay, Wendy, all right. All right, Deborah Martinez. All right, Rebecca, what? Where?
Hey, we need before.
Rebecca Maeto. Okay, Ivania Brown.
I'm here, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Chris Woods.
Good morning, I'm here.
Morning. Devin Drake.
Here.
All right. Christine Hoover. All right. Francina Martinez.
I'm here.
All right, Region 5. Paula Yanis. Tran.
Veronica Rodriguez is here.
All right. All right, Charity Douglas. All right. Diana Alexander.
Morning, here.
Morning. Rick Wani.
Good morning, President.
Morning. Danielle Nielsen. Melissa Livingston.
Good morning, Melissa Livingston here.
All right, Region 6, Michael Sylvester.
Here.
Okay, Kristen Stranger,
Here.
Cynthia McCoy Miller.
She'll be joining us later.
All right,
We have.
All right.
all right.
All right. Now a smaller group.
Yeah.
We'll start from-
Yeah.
Were we able to cross-reference our directors to get quorum on that too?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna both. All right. Okay, great. We have quorum. Call the meeting to order. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the agenda just quickly. We have, in this agenda, we're gonna be doing our elections and our appointments for both the JPA board and also for the PSC, as well as the chair, vice chair. And then we do have some board action items and a number of informational items, less than usual, so we should be able to get everybody here out on time. Yeah, I'm not gonna promise early, but out on time would be a good goal, since that's always a challenge. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into right with our administrative pieces that we need to do. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. This is an opportunity for public comment on items not listed on the agenda. I'm gonna open that up right now. Hearing none, okay, we're gonna go ahead and get right into our action items for our member representatives. That's our nominations and
Okay.
slates.
All right, okay, so. Okay, we're going to go ahead with the nomination and elections and appointments for the JPA board and the project Steering Committee, members for fiscal year 2024-2025. So pursuant to the JPA agreement, Article 2, Section 2.04, subsection C and D, the directors from regions 1 through 5 shall be elected from the member representatives from their respective regions. Region 1 and 4 shall each select 2 directors. Regions 2 and 5 shall each select 1 director, and Region 5 shall select 3 directors. Region 6, represented by Los Angeles County, shall have 3 directors who shall be the 3 member representatives from Region 6. Okay. So we're going to present the nomination slate for the regional nomination. We have Marla Stewart from Contra Costa and Kelly Curtis, Solano County Health and Social Services. Greg Geisler, Placer County Human Services. Bill Watson, Glenn County. Chris Woods from San Joaquin County Human Services Agency. Francina Martinez, Tulare County Health and Human Services Agency. Veronica Rodriguez, Orange County. James LaCour, I say it wrong every time. San Bernardino County, and Melissa Livingston from Ventura County. Michael Sylvester, Los Angeles County, Kristen Stranger, and then Cynthia McCoy, Los Angeles County. Okay, so pursuant to the JPA bylaws, paragraph A, each region will nominate 1 or more candidates from among its deputy directors or small county equivalents to serve on the project steering committee. So regions 1 and 4 will each appoint 2 project steering committee members. Regions 2 and 3 will each appoint 1 project steering committee member, and region 5 and 6 will each appoint 3 project steering committee. So with that, we have Clarissa Simon from San Mateo, and then Perez from Napa County. Eduardo, oh man, I should have pronounced his name. Almanero. Okay. Sacramento County, Ryan Bishop, Humboldt. Cynthia Youth, Kern County, and Cecilia Leon from Merced. Elaine Martinez, Ventura, Alberto Pinuelos, San Diego, and Sandra Boland from Riverside. Shonda Diggs, LA, Wena Critchlow, and Olga Suna, okay, Los Angeles County. All right. Okay, so now we're going to not votes, right? Or
Yeah, open it to
open it.
questions. and
Any
comments.
questions or comments?
Any questions, comments, or other nominations? From our board members, state partners. Public comment? Nope. Okay. So then do we have a motion to approve the slate that's been put before you? So motion. Good, second? Second?
All right, so that's it. Okay. Okay, so Marla Stewart,
Yes.
okay, Carrie Berman,
Yes.
okay, Lori Medina,
Yes.
Jennifer Yasumoto,
Yes.
Angela Sheen,
Yes.
Randy Morris,
Yes.
Ellie Curtis,
Yes.
Angela Struckman.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna call for anyone from that may have joined late
For regional.
from Region 1. All right, Region 2, we don't have that many. Greg Geisler.
Yes.
All right. Ethan?
Yes.
All right, Annie Hockett,
Yes.
anyone coming late from Region 2? All right, from Region 3, Elizabeth Kelly.
Yes.
All right, Renell Brown,
Yes.
Bill Watkins.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel Dillman Parsons.
Yes.
Okay. Deborah Wingate. Oh, no, she wasn't. That was it. Anyone else from? Oh, Jason Vial.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Rachel, Ebo Elliott.
Yes.
Tom Sandick.
Yes.
Okay. And then Dwayne Green,
Yes.
Patricia Barbieri.
Yes.
Okay, Teresa, Curiel.
Yes, and you still have Laura Hawkins listed as Tehama, and she is now Glenn.
Say that again.
On the screen, you have Laura Hawkins listed under Tehama, and she is
Oh.
Glenn.
Switch counties.
Okay, okay, got it, okay. Okay, and then, Liz Hamilton.
Yes.
All right, from Region 4, Lido Murillo, sorry,
Yes.
Wendy Osakapo,
Yes.
Ivania Brown,
Yes.
Chris Woods,
Yes.
Devin Drake,
Yes.
okay, Francina Martinez.
Yes.
Sonia Bouquet is also on.
What's it? Oh, yeah, Sandra, oh, sorry, Sandra, yeah, you did jump on, Sandra, Bouquet,
It's all right. I was a little late. Yes.
okay. Rebecca Maieto.
Yes.
Oh, did she come on? Okay, sorry about that. Sorry. All right, moving on to Region 5. Veronica Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right. Diana Alexander. Diana Alexander.
She was on.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Rick Wani.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Melissa Livingston.
Yes.
Region 6. Michael Sylvester,
Yes.
Kristen Stranger,
Yes.
You can check and see if Cynthia's joined.
Cynthia, are you on?
Yes.
Okay. Yes and yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Okay. All right, so pursuant to the JPA agreement, Article 2, Section 2.04, B, there's a little thing over that. The state shall have the right to select a representative to serve on the board as the ex officio representative of the state. And we have Adam Dondro as the ex officio representative of the state.
Any public comment or any comments from board members? Hearing none. Any public comment? Also hearing none. So we'll go ahead. Do we have a motion to approve?
This is just an information.
Oh, this is informational. We don't vote on that? Okay. Been a year.
All right.
Thank you, Adam. For serving in that capacity.
Oh. All right, so, pursuant to the JPA agreement, section 3, Article 3, section 3.01, the board board of directors shall elect, from among the directors, the chair and vice chair. So we're seeking nominations, creating the slate for the chair and the vice chair for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
I nominate Michael Sylvester for chair.
Yes. That was a decision.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
I'll nominate Marla Stewart to continue as vice chair.
Marla, do you accept that?
Yes, thank you.
Happy to serve.
Okay. Elect?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll elect the chair and the vice chair for the period of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. So we have to vote. Yes, vote.
Yeah, a vote. We do a vote, like motion to approve and everything.
Yeah, if it's just for the JPA board, it's not the whole 58, so you don't need this big list anymore, it's just the little list in your slide deck.
Do we have other nominations?
Yeah.
Any comments or input from the city board members? Okay, any public comment? Okay, hearing none of all those things. Do we have a motion to approve? I'll move. Second?
This is Kristen. I'll second.
Thank you.
All right, is Adam on? Adam,
He doesn't vote.
oh, he doesn't vote. That's right. Yeah. Okay, Marla Stewart?
Yes.
Yes. Tracy Belton? Okay. Rachel Pena? Oh, Kelly.
So it's gonna be Marla voted, and then it's Kelly.
Yes.
Region 2 will be Greg.
Yeah.
Region 3 is Bill Watson.
Yes.
And then region 4 is going to be Chris Woods,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
region 5, Veronica,
Yes.
Diana Alexander,
Yes.
and Paula's not on, so. Okay, and then region 6, Michael,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Right.
So just, the next thing is consent calendar, right? That was the
and
next.
then we have.
Holly has.
Oh, Holly's okay. Okay, just before we start the next item, I just want to thank everybody who's been serving in board member capacity and also to all the county directors. The project's only been successful because the heavy involvement and high level of collaboration that we've had. And I just want to thank all of you who've served and also those who have volunteered to serve in this next year. We're going to need everybody's input to keep steering and directing this project and keeping us on time, on budget, and also very responsive to the county's needs as they continue to evolve. So I want to thank all of you guys for all your time and energy, and the fact that we have very engaged board members makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so thank you so much, you guys.
Okay. Great. All right, so we're going to have approval of the fiscal year 24-25 CalSAWS project budget, including the CalSAWS implementation, IFPD update, county purchases, separate services, premise item funding, and administrative budget for unfunded costs. And with that, I'll turn it over to Holly.
Thanks, Julia.
So yeah, it's once again that time of the year, we need to set ourselves up for the upcoming year. So as noted on this first slide, our JPA agreement, our bylaws, our MOU all refer to the adoption of an annual budget. The bylaws allow for the board to take that action, but first we do present it to the member representatives. The MOU addresses the approval of the administrative costs. Those were approved by the members last January. So overall, the overall budget includes the administrative costs, but also the project and premise funding as previously mentioned. And we'll go into those categories on the next slide. So in addition to the admin budget, we include that baseline advanced planning document for CalSAWS. We also include the county purchases, also sometimes called separate services, and then all of the premise items for the various policy changes that are above and beyond our baseline. So our next slide has those details for you. The details are by funding source. Each premise item is listed separately, along with the baseline budget and county purchase projections. We have a line to the May revise, so some of those amounts are subject to change as we finalize APDs throughout the year. As updates are needed, if needed, we address those in upcoming board meetings through future action items. As requested by our auditor controller, we do provide the breakdown between expenditure categories, including services and supplies and the capital outlay. Capital outlay is the application, development, and maintenance costs, while services and supplies are hardware, software, and infrastructure type costs. The total is just over 468 million for the year, compared to last year, which was 542 million. This is about 74 million less. We closed out CalWin, although some of our CalSAWS costs increase, offsetting that decrease from CalWin closeout. It's about 16% less. With that, I'll turn it back to Michael for questions from the board.
Thank you, Ollie. Any comments, questions from our board members or our state partners on the budget update? Any public comment? Okay. Yeah, take action on this.
All right. Okay, so we need a motion.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Could you say your name? Because there was two of them that jumped in there.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Kelly Curtis.
Thanks, Kelly. I couldn't quite see who got it first, so thank you for breaking the time.
Okay, so Region 1 made the motion. So Region 2, Greg?
Yes.
Region 3, Bill?
Yes.
Region 4, Chris?
Yes.
Francina?
Yes.
Thank you. Region 5, Veronica?
Yes.
Diana?
Yes.
Okay. And then Region 6, Michael?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Thank you.
Consent calendar, okay. All right, so moving on, we're going to be seeking board authorization and completion of the signature fund custodian authorization forms required for by San Bernardino County Auditor, Controller, Treasurer, and Tax Collector for state fiscal year 24-25. Approve the completion of the form in the name of the CalSAWS chair, authorizing the chair to approve payments to be made by controller for CalSAWS. Approve the completion of the form in the name of the CalSAWS vice chair, authorizing the vice chair to approve payments to be made by the controller for CalSAWS. Approve completion of the form in the name of the CalSAWS JPA secretary, authorizing the JPA secretary to approve invoices to be paid by the controller for CalSAWS. Approve completion of the form in the name of CalSAWS section director Holly Murphy, authorizing Holly Murphy to approve invoices to be paid by the controller for CalSAWS in the absence of the CalSAWS JPA secretary. Approve completion of the form in the name of the CalSAWS section director Laura Chavez, authorizing Laura Chavez to approve invoices to be paid by the controller for CalSAWS in the absence of the CalSAWS JP secretary. Approve completion of the form in the name of the CalSAWS section director Thomas Hartman, authorizing Thomas Hartman to approve invoices to be paid by the controller for CalSAWS in the absence of the CalSAWS JPA secretary. Approve completion of the form in the name of Director Diana Alexander, authorizing Diana Alexander to approve invoices to be paid by the controller for CalSAWS.
Yes, so CalSAWS pays our bills timely, and we have backups to the backups to the backup to make sure that that happens. Okay, good. Any comments or questions from our board members or state partners on the slate of forms to be signed?
I have a question. So it's pretty clear about who all these people are, except the JPA secretary is not listed by name. And who's the JPA secretary?
Julia.
Thank you.
I was wondering.
There you go.
You're like, I'm not in there. Of course. Yeah, executive director. Multiple roles. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, any public comment? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve our consent calendar items?
So moved.
Thank you, Merle.
Second.
Like Cynthia?
It sounded like Cynthia, but I'm not
Cynthia,
sure.
was that you second?
It's Diana.
Diana, okay, Diana.
There's a little echo, I thought it was Diana. All right.
Okay, Kelly,
Yes.
Greg,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Francina,
Yes.
Veronica.
Yes.
Diana made the second, so go region 6. Michael,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes.
Thank you. We're done with voting, you guys.
Right.
Nobody log out now.
I know.
We got some good updates for you.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the audit summary. Holly, going to review that annual audit.
Yeah, so each year we conduct our annual financial audit. Typically, we start that in late January or early February for the prior fiscal year. So this slide just includes our references to the JPA agreement that call for that audit. As a reminder, our auditor is selected through a procurement process conducted by San Bernardino County. I Bailey was selected to conduct the audit, and the board approved that contract last fall. So the auditor, they go through, they review the financial statements, they conduct field visits. In certain cases, they request sample evidence such as claims, backup documentation to those claims. They conduct interviews with staff, including those staff on my team, as well as the board chair. So the next slide just is a summary of the results. Again, audit covers the period July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. There were no findings of non-compliance. All financials were presented fairly, so no recommendations were made. The documents are available on calsas.org under our public information tab, and they were also sent out via CIT 0050-24. And with that, open for questions and comments.
I would like to compliment Holly and her team for their diligence around our financial management on this project. Since I've been the chair, I review this audit every single year in detail, and we've done a phenomenal job of managing our money ensuring that it's being handled appropriately on behalf of the taxpayers. So I want to open up for any other questions or comments from our board members or state partners on this presentation. Hearing none, any public comment? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much, Helen. Move on to the next.
Moving on to Sean Swift, who's going to provide a report status update.
So here's a quick update on where we are since the last time we met. This first slide here, I listed out all the reports that we have made updates on, either baseline releases or priority releases. As you can see, it's a lot. We continue to try to pump through as many items as we can, as fast as we can, as we hear that feedback through the bi-weekly group or the committees. You can see a lot of focus on the state and fiscal reports, because that's where we see most of our feedback coming from at this point in time. And I pulled out the top 5 where we've activated a new state report and continue to make changes on the 812. That's one of the most complex reports in the system for CalWorks collections. Some task management updates, as well as some other smaller changes. We've even had the ability to do some infrastructure updates, both as enhancements and correcting a few things to allow us to run by counties individually in an easier fashion than we used to before. So we continue to make a lot of great progress against that. The rest of the slide deck here, I just keep refocusing back on the recommendations we made and the progress we made. If we go to the next slide, I'll keep updating this, but this is pretty much just we're still having all these meetings, we're still having these conversations, they're still going well. I can say that the Los Angeles County reports, we've actually figured out a way to do a cursory look through all the reports in the system, so the counties have less for them to actually have to evaluate to see if they want those reports. So there'll be a CRFI coming out. I think we were hoping this week, but we have some questions in a different way we want to write it up. So it'll probably be next week, I think, that will come out based on some of the feedback we got from the RMs. So more progress being made there. If we go to the next slide, Forum B, I have pushed that back a little bit into the summer. The reason being there is we had to shift some resources around and get the documentation effort. The FDDs is what we're calling the now functional design documents, and get some of those out to the group as well. We have received a lot of good commentary on those FDDs from the functional and business side of the house, that they are very helpful in terms of helping the counties understand how the reports are being created and what the logic is behind that. If we go forward, continue to update this year. Some of these will just be continuous and rolling as we go through the releases throughout the course of the year. Next slide. I will note I made a mistake in the last slide deck. I flipped those 2 SCRs last time at the top. So it was the second one that we have targeted for 2409, not the first one. So I wanted to make that quick update there. One more slide. Again, reports documentation. We did have our first set go out. We're soon to have our second set go out in a couple of weeks here. We are making progress on, it's not this slide, it's the next one. On some setting some process expectations and automation expectations. Those are in draft internally. We want to get the RMs to review it and have some more reviews before we bring it to the bi-weekly group and see where we all stand on that. But that'll help us all be on a common page in terms of what to expect out of CalSAWS in the future. And then just a reminder, we do have a new survey coming up to make sure that the counties believe we're still continuing to make progress. It will be a much shorter survey. It won't take someone an hour and a half to complete like the first one. Our first draft, we cut half the questions out already. So again, RMs, I'll let you review it before we send it out. But that should be coming out probably end of July, early August. And that's it for reports.
All right, thanks, Sean. As everyone knows, our business is driven by data and by reporting. So this is incredibly important to every director. So I want to make sure I can open this up for any comments or questions, suggestions or direction further on where we go with reporting. I'll open that up now to our board members or state partners.
Nothing today.
Nothing today.
Looking at my colleague Marla over there because I know she's very data centric.
Yes.
But any members not present in the room that have any comments or questions, please speak up now. Is there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing?
She's going to wait for public comment. She's not a JPA member. She's here on behalf of.
Oh, okay, so she's gonna go into public. Okay, fine. Going, not hearing any. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the public comment.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Anissa Basso-Biapiati, Alameda County, on behalf of Country Ford. As you know, we continue to have concerns with our data reports. You know, as a county, we're responsible for verifying that the data is correct. And it's hard for us to be able to verify if we're not able to see the data behind the information that we're getting in aggregate. What is the team doing to make that information accessible to us? So that it's not just aggregate data, but we are able to verify what the information is.
So it's funny is I actually just talked to Lily and Hollis this week in Alameda. I've been trying to reach out, do some one-on-one, so see how everything's going. When we do produce a report, it's not only in aggregate. We produce the report and then a backup of it as well that says, hey, here's everything we've counted. Now, what I've heard from Hollis and Lily in Alameda County is that, you know, going back to our recommendations and the stuff we found through all of our research over the couple of months was that difference in reporting approach, where CalSAWS will say, here's my report and here's everything I counted, please verify. Where CalWin will used to go down the approach of, here's my report and here's a data set. And in that data set would be both things I counted and not counted. I mean, it'd be somewhat filtered, right? Like you're not going to get special investigations in the fiscal report, right? So it's contextually filtered, but it provided both the positive and negative side. With where we're going with a data lake and purpose-built data sets is they will only ever have data there for that purpose. They won't have data that is the negative side of that. So we've walked through that with the group, and then, you know, as far as a technical architecture approach, we aren't going down the data set, like starting to email counties or make available large data sets for reports, or going down the negative side. So I met with Hollis and Lily separately this week to talk through that with them and to make sure they understand. But that is not something as far as I've worked through with the consortium that as a data lake approach, we're going to understand that purpose-built only data set approach.
We do have
If I can address it, yeah. So we have at least two comments in the chat, one from Wendy in Kings County and a follow-up from Veronica in Orange. And that's around fiscal reports and the defect list for fiscal being fairly lengthy, and want to just underscore the importance of our fiscal reports to all the counties, and I second that as well. So I want to see if maybe we can bring that back in our updates going forward and tracking our defects, where we're going with that. I think that's been highly effective in other areas on the project when we shed some light in here on the progress. So I'd like to see that as part of the presentation going forward. Francine also supported that point as well. So that's not good. Yep. So as I mentioned, our reports are incredibly important, fiscal especially. So really, we would like to create a greater focus around this. Okay. Any public comment beyond what we've already picked up? No. All right. Well, thank you very much for all the comments and input. We'll go ahead and make those adjustments and create even more transparency in between the meetings and in the meetings going forward.
I need to make just a quick announcement on something else.
Okay, can I close that one out then? All right, so we're done with this item. We'll move on to the next, but before we do, Jennifer.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I need to just make a correction. The slide deck showed an incorrect name for the PSC Region 6 nominee or appointee. It's not Winnie Critchlow. She is no longer on the PSC. It's Irene Weezar.
I should cut that.
All right, so really excited for this next informational item. It's going to be Sarah and Michael giving an overview of our pilot Gen AI project with President.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. All right, so let's jump right into it. We're here with an overview. So what this implementation is for Fresno County's contact center. We are deploying what is called Fresno Gen AI Call Summary Assist, and essentially it is automatically drafting and populating call summaries for contact center workers onto their call log detail page, which is the picture we're looking at here on the slide. And so as you can see in this picture, it's really similar to current day process. It was super important in the design period to streamline this process for Fresno County's workers, automating it and augmenting their jobs and not making it more complicated or adding extra clicks. So we see the same call log detail page that they're used to today, and that the only difference is that short and long description field, we can see a little gray box over it. And that is where, after the call, the generative AI will automatically populate the call summaries. When these are populated onto this page, they're in a draft mode. That allows the workers to review, modify as needed, and then save to the CalSAW system. If we move forward to the next slide. So we're expecting many benefits out of this implementation. I'll focus mostly on the first two here on this slide, but I'll cover all of them. So one of the main benefits that we're anticipating is this reduced post-call wrap time. So what we mean by that is really the time from call end to when the agent is ready to take the next call. And so in this post-call wrap time, agents take those manual call notes today, and they also may complete, case actions in CalSAWs. Maybe they need to run EDBC, things like that, after they hang up with the caller before they move on to the next call. So with this implementation, with the Gen AI summaries automatically populated in a draft mode, we're hoping to see some reductions in this post-call wrap time. For similar implementations that we've done for other organizations, we've seen a 15 to 45% decrease in wrap time, and that's per call. So if we imagine that there's 1 minute saved per call where agents don't need to manually write the summary, but instead just review and save, that's, if you extrapolate that to every call coming into the contact center, it really can result in some immense time savings for the contact center overall. So that's a main benefit that we're hoping to see, as well as increased call summary consistency. So what we mean by that is that this call summary assist tool is going to be drafting all the summaries. So by the time they make their way into the system, they will be very consistent, easier to review, and additionally, that sort of last bullet point under that value section is something we're excited about, where it takes a transcript of the entire call. So I'm sure you can imagine for some of those longer calls that workers are on, that by the time they're writing those call notes after the call, it could be easy to miss some details that happened at the beginning of the call. And so with this solution, it will be summarizing the call end to end, and allows for consistency and a really complete summary being saved to the system. On the right side, we have better experience for county workers. This is really to augment their experience, allow them to get to the next call faster, and it can also improve the learning experience for new employees. So new staff that are joining the county, instead of learning how to take those detailed, very specific call notes from scratch, they can have some assistance from this call summary assist. And then improve service to residents with those time savings. we're hoping at the end of the day that this can result in more residents being served by the contact center in a day, as well as increased engagement with residents because it'll be less note-taking during the call. All right, so these are our main values that we're hoping to see with this implementation. And on the next slide, I'm actually going to pass it over to Michael here from Fresno County to take us through these different quotes.
Hello, everyone. Michael Frazier here from Fresno County. As Sarah had indicated, many of our outcomes that we're looking for are, we are hoping that the AI solution will allow for us to add consistency and reduce the time needed for journaling our calls. The consistency aspect will be hopefully with our experienced workers, and it'll shorten that learning curve for our new employees. Overall, the quicker we're able to answer the next call, the more community members we're able to assist. Some of my staff members who have been deeply involved with this testing and putting together some training materials for here in Fresno County had some quotes they would also like to share. From my lead worker, Juliana Cha, the Gen AI is consistently growing and creating better summarizations with each use. Overall, this results in reduced workload. Our aim is to assist our community one call at a time, and Gen AI post-call summary assist has helped streamline part of our business process and boost productivity. One of my other EWs, Sabrina Torres, again, has been involved with testing and putting together the training material for us here. She's excited to implement this new feature across the contact center, as this will allow more time to focus on processing. Client experience should increase across all facets of Fresno County DSS due to more client being serviced over the phone. And so we are hoping for good things and when we go live tomorrow morning. Back to you, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. All right, so on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about the timeline of this project. So it has been an ambitious timeline. We started all of this in just March of this year, which was our project kickoff, followed by solution design also in March. In April and May, we did solution development. And then since May, we've been doing a lot of testing and training. The testing has been really interesting. Michael and his team has done so much testing as well at the Fresno County site. We've really tried to mimic a lot of real life scenarios, like background noise, if a caller's mumbling, maybe they're being interrupted by someone else while on the call, things like that. So it was very extensive testing effort. And then tonight is our initial go live. And so it will be present in production tomorrow morning for the very first day for Fresno to start utilizing. All right, and then this is all of our slides for this presentation. And so we will now be moving into a pre-recorded demonstration so that we can all sort of see how this looks and feels.
This is a demo of Call Summary Assist for Fresno County. The goal is to summarize contact center calls and automatically populate the short and long descriptions of the call log detail page. We are about to do a fake phone call to show how this works. This call is inspired by a real conversation. All the information in this call has been replaced with mock data. Right now, I am logged into our ECCP test environment as an eligibility worker, and I'm going to move my status to ready to accept the incoming call so we may begin the demo. Hi, thank you for calling the Department of Social Services. Can I get your name and date of birth, please?
Colin Ruiz, July 8th, 1997.
For security purposes, can I get the last four of your social security number and your address, please?
The last four of my social are 1223, and my address is 456 Maple Street, Anytown, USA, 90010.
All right, last verification. Can I get the current phone number on file?
Yeah, it's 555-789-0123.
Thank you for verifying everything. How can I help you today?
I was just calling to get an update on our CalFresh application. We applied but haven't yet heard anything back.
Okay, so it looks like CalFresh is approved and you're supposed to have benefits already authorized for the household. However, I am seeing that for Medi-Cal, it is only active for Jasmine Ruiz and not yourself. Did you request Medi-Cal for yourself?
Yeah, I think that I did.
Okay, let me check here. Did you ever request to be added on to the Medi-Cal?
I believe so. My wife filled it out for us.
I don't see anything requesting for Medi-Cal.
Maybe we started a new application. We didn't know we could just add it onto an existing application.
Yeah, because, because of your child, that means you guys already have an active case. All right, I see it here. Yeah, I think that when it came in, it looked like it was just for CalFresh, but I will go ahead and request for Medi-Cal benefits for you guys for July.
Okay, how will we know if it was approved?
I will go ahead and send out a notice to you. It should get to you in about 3 to 5 days. Once you are approved, you want to make sure you go ahead and call Healthcare Option. Their phone number is 555-657-9810. So they will go ahead and choose a provider for you. That provider will send you their card, insurance card, and what I'm doing on my end is I will send you the state card benefits card. That one would come to you in it could take 10 days to 4 weeks to get to you.
That's for Medi-Cal, right? How will we know when the benefits for the CalFresh begin?
You should have already been receiving benefits for CalFresh. So I'm not sure if you already received the EBT card, but if you still have the old one, it is usable. If you do need a new card, what you can do is you can either call the number on the back and request one, or I can go ahead and request one for you. It would take about 5 to 10 days to receive it. Or you can come into one of our offices and get a visiting ticket. That ticket reason will be for your EBT, and then you can let them know that you want an EBT card printed, and you'll be able to use it right away.
Okay, perfect.
All right, no problem. Is there anything else I can answer for you before we end this call?
No, thanks.
Thank you so much for calling. You have a great day. Bye.
Perfect, thank you. Bye.
So during the call and during the summary generation time, these two fields
There was a little bit more in that demo. I'm not sure if we're able to pull it back up, or I can talk through some of that as well, if that's preferred.
Yeah, just go ahead and start. If we can pull it up, Sarah, we will, but just go ahead and talk through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Andy posted the summary in the chat. So what we would have seen in that demo, we would have zoomed in a little bit since we know it was a little hard to read on that screen size. So as you could see, we completed that test call. And then after following the end of that call, the call summary assist then generated for a few minutes or a few seconds, and then populated that short and long description onto the call log detail page. And so some things to note is that, the worker, Andy, in that demonstration was able to utilize the call log detail page during the call, as well as other parts of all other parts of the CalSAWS application as usual. And so really the Gen AI piece here is, looks like we're going to get this back. Okay.
So during the call and during the summary generation time, these two fields, the short and long description, were grayed out and uneditable, but all other fields were editable. During the beginning part of the demo, I clicked around some of these other fields to demonstrate that these fields could still be edited. I also typed test notes in the new call notes field where the eligibility workers can take notes during the call. After the call, the technology takes a few seconds to populate the short and long descriptions of the call log detail page with the summaries. Now, the short and long descriptions are both editable, so eligibility workers can perform manual review and make changes. I'll now zoom in so that you can take a look at the output. Once the eligibility worker completes their manual review and edits, they can press save and the call summaries will be saved as a journal entry. This concludes the Call Summary Assist demo. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, that was our presentation for this Gen AI implementation in Fresno, and I'll pass it back to Michael Sylvester, I believe.
Thank you, Sarah and Michael, for that presentation, and thank you to Fresno's leadership, Sonia and your team. This is exciting. I'm really interested in what we can do with AI, and I think this is a real targeted. I think most of the things that we're going to have the most success with are going to be very targeted approaches. And this is something that is targeted. LA County, I'll tell you, is very interested in looking at partnering on this and finding out how we can really drive it out into a very robust solution. Something that continues to be a supportive tool and not necessarily a replacement tool for our workers, because we have a very big union interest in this area. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, and real happy to see one of the counties putting investment in and starting to tease this out. So I want to hear a lot more as this goes forward about what we're doing, because we have a policy bot. We have basically a policy Q&A one that we've done in LA County, and we've had to go through a number of maturations of that to get it to a level where we think that it's prime time ready and really Teflon and proven, so that it can stand the test of questions. And I think about equity in this one too, language support, things that'll have to be really dealt with. I believe you might have only done it in English at this point. Is that right? Or how?
Yeah.
How's it working?
Yeah, it's English for right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd really want to see where's AI at right now in terms of language support and the other areas. But yeah, I'm real excited about it. I just want to make sure what we do is can stand the test of criticism from the outside as we make it more globally available. So I'll open it up to our other board members, state partners, for any questions or comments on this presentation.
I have a question. This is Kristen. On the demonstration we just saw for Fresno, if a caller calls in, speaks to an eligibility worker, and then maybe for some reason gets routed to another eligibility worker, but it's the same call, or they integrate their supervisor, is it all recorded under one feature? Does it differentiate that you've seen another worker? Does it kind of show the different, how does it separate? How does it record in the journal entry in those types of situations?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So for this Fresno implementation, how it works is I'll say agent 1 versus agent 2. So agent 1 answers the call, speaks with the resident, and when they transfer the call to another agent, in the system, there's 2 different options for transfers. You can sort of conference, or you could just fully transfer. So in the case that they're fully transferring off to another agent, that transcript gets truncated. And for agent 1, the summary output is just their leg of the call. And then when agent 2 answers the call, that call log detail window, a new one, will pop up for them, and it will only summarize that leg of the call. So it gets truncated and stays separate as long as it's fully transferred off to the agent.
Marla had some questions too.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sarah, for that great presentation. It's I agree with Michael, very exciting and really a good option for us, I think, moving forward. I have 2 questions. The first one is, I might have missed this, you might have addressed it. Can the agent edit the notes after they see it? And the second one is the transcript saved? And is that accessible to anybody after the call?
Excellent question. So for the first one, yes, that manual agent review step is really critical in this flow. So yeah, agents are absolutely able to edit it. They could remove the whole thing if they wanted to and retype it. They have full flexibility in editing those summaries after they're generated. And then for the second question, you were asking if the transcripts are viewable by people. Is that right?
If they're viewable and if they're stored and available.
Yeah, they're not. So the transcripts are completely contained within the backend, and they follow CalSA's data privacy policies where they're regularly deleted.
I did want to add to that, your question about the editing. We didn't say it here, but after it's saved, it does kind of stamp the transcript and say, I think we're still working on the language, but generated with the assistance of Gen AI or summarized with, by Gen AI, so that people are also clear on that.
In regards to that, is there something that can, differentiate what was added by the worker versus what the AI was?
This is Ethan in Sacramento. Is there if a worker and a customer get into a conflict, does it hold anything? Is there a way to extrapolate what that looks like? Because I think we all know we get complaints sometimes, whether they're good or bad or justified or not. How do we, as leaders, go in and actually look at that? And then, the good question of is it saved in the back end, and can you see what workers are adding and subtracting? Let's have a question around how that works.
Yeah, so we did a lot of testing. As I mentioned, it was really comprehensive. And some of those tests, I know Michael and his team especially did a lot of tests on real world situations like that, where maybe the callers are angry, maybe using some colorful language, and those are not captured in the summary. So it stays very, true to the purpose of the call, and it does not capture in the summaries those types of details. And then sorry, can you repeat the other question on the other portion of your question?
I think it just went to being able to track in the transcript on the back end.
Oh.
We have access to it and you had answered that. And I think that as we're moving into Gen AI, we may want to think about keeping transcripts of calls and call recordings maybe a little longer, because those things do happen, and then it becomes a worker versus customer, and you never know which one really pans out if it's not being captured correctly.
And the new capabilities or Gen AI within the tool set is developing. So there are things such as sentiment analysis that is also AI driven. Right. Not that it has yet to be implemented in the CalSA's world. You'd have to make sure that we go through the appropriate governance process to do that. But there are capabilities developing that will do exactly that. And that allows us then to escalate if you need to get a supervisor involved, if things are getting too hot on the call, for example. So those are capabilities that are being developed through AWS Connect and other providers to further enhance and provide additional tools to the call center agents.
Yeah, we're looking at some of those in LA, sentiment analysis being one of them. We're already doing call recordings. So anything we're learning from that will also be shared back with the project. We'll keep this kind of flow going on this, because it's an evolving space. But like I said, I want everything to be very safe. Well, safe's a good word. Ethically aligned, equity compliant, and also that we're understanding the labor implications, and that we're doing this very surgically. Yes. So yes, this is going to be something we're going to have to put a lot of thought into, and I love the promise. I love that part of it, but then it's refining it into something that we can really use as a tool to steer us forward and to continue to push us in that innovative direction without getting stalled or without creating something that will become an anchor that we can't get around. So I think all the concerns that are kind of coming up about like those areas, I think we'll be diving into those more deeply, but this is a tremendous first start to sort of have one of our counties go out there and say, hey, I want to try, I want to actually take a look at this and give us some direct feedback. So I'm really proud of Fresno for doing that. And yeah, there's a lot more to come in this space, definitely. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Fresno.
This is
Yeah, this kind
Mike.
of goes along.
Sorry, just want to clarify one thing. We do have the recording, so the audio is available if folks would like to review afterwards. County does have access, and we have tools in place that the counties can use to review the recording if needed. So that is something that we do retain.
Yeah, and I was interested in implications for PRAs, lawsuits, and also if the customer would be told that a transcript is being produced. Lots of questions.
Yeah, and I believe on our call center implementation now, it actually tells them the calls are recorded, so they actually are aware of that. So it's compliant with California laws around consent to recordings.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And to clarify, it's so the transcript is being fed into the Gen AI tool. So it's not like Gen AI is a part of that actual conversation, right? So the qualifiers in terms of recording are adequate in terms of from a customer engagement, standpoint. So.
And there was a couple comments brought up before about whether or not it's indicated what is Gen AI created versus what a worker does. There's been some momentum in that space of seeing that becoming more and more of a request or best practice, to being able to have auditable capabilities around that. So we'll probably have to take a look at that as we move forward and try to harden the solutions, whether or not we're going to need to be able to retain, okay, what was originally presented versus what was actually the final document. So that way I can imagine that'll be helpful with labor as well. Any other comments or questions on this real exciting presentation?
I just want to chime in and say, hi, this is Sonia from Fresno. Good job, team, on presenting this. And really just want to share with everybody, our intent is really for this to be a worker assist. So part of the intent is really workers review and could absolutely edit everything out. As we learn through this, we'll keep this group appraised, because I'm genuinely hoping that this helps our percentage of call, it helps the consistency. So as we progress, lots of things that you guys have noted are the things that we're worried about as well. So we're doing this slowly and methodically, even though the timeline has been really, there's really fast. So this team has done a good job getting through this. So thank you.
Yes, and thanks for being willing to dive into the pool on this one for us. Great. Any public comment?
Yes. Was there any testing in terms of, I don't know if it's cultural sensitivity, but linguistic sensitivity when you have people who call in have accents? And how is it capturing the information? I say that because I know, Siri doesn't understand me sometimes. And so I just wanted to know how it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a lot of testing with different types of callers calling in. So we absolutely tested that. We've seen that the technology still works really well. And I know you're mentioning Siri. And so if we were to take a look at the transcript from the call, maybe some words here and there are incorrect. But then when we look at the summary holistically, it typically stays very accurate, even if there are some words that were misunderstood in the transcript. So we're really happy with how we've seen it perform with different types of callers.
So I think that the thing with AI versus just like sometimes, well, there's that's not, or like language translation is it's like sometimes it's literal, but AI uses, it's contextual. So it's actually not just like taking the words and just like popping them over there. It's taking the full context of what's being said and generating a summary, right? So it's like if I said boat and it said, go, like it's also going to look at the whole summary and be like, okay, it actually was boat, right? So that's what she's saying in terms of the accuracy.
Yeah, and I think maintaining some records on this, because it's the accuracy is a moving and evolving thing, is that for equity's sake, accents, but it's also speech impediments, things of that nature, where we really want to see if this can be that thing we have never had, and that's an ability to deal with that on the fly and actually be able to have an accurate depiction of what was stated. And I really want to have that be very transparent, that we're looking at this accuracy and being able to track it and see where it's at, because we're going to need to produce that. So, any other public comment? All right. Well, thank you very much again for this presentation. Appreciate it.
All right, equally exciting.
All right, hello everyone, it's got to be exciting. So we're halfway through the calendar year already, and you always hear me talk about our major releases, the baseline releases that are every other month in our odd months, except twice a year in February and in June. We also have our integrated releases with the CalHear system. And this 2 weeks ago, we deployed, both systems deployed the 2406 or 24.6 in the CalHear's terminology. And this actually was quite a major release for both systems. It's the first time since before the unwinding where we've done e-hit updates, so actual interface updates, and updated some of the data elements and exchanges. To date, it is working well. We obviously have our ex parte process about to run next week, and that runs in July for the September renewal. So we'll be watching that as it goes forward. One of the things we did also in this release is, we've talked a lot about during the unwinding with Teresa about, increasing the ex parte rates for both the Magi Medical and non-Magi Medical. There were major changes, and I think you see since the December timeframe, those rates have gone up. We're also looking at some of the smaller exceptions we may have. So the way it works, the interface works right now, we do a lot of business validations before we send transactions across to CalHears, simply because we don't want to taunt the user, because we know they're going to fail. So we apply a series of business validations. If a validation is hit, we actually task the worker, and there is a report for workers to look at. So with this recent release, we made a change around implied consent and verification consent. So that was in conjunction with DHCS. We were able to default some values there. So those transactions are now flowing through. And I'm talking about very small percentages of exceptions every month. So there's a couple of those that we're working through. We also deployed some updates around SSN validations to push more through. So we'll continue to look at these business validation exceptions as we move forward to see if there's any more tweaking we can do. Because obviously if we can send it and it's received and passes the business validation, that's one less skip for the counties to look at and process. If we move forward into July, we are in test for our 2407 release. Again, I've got over 50 enhancements, a mix of policy items. In addition to the policy, and again, I can't list them all, we have some usability changes going in around task management. We're continuing to work with the work group and put some changes in around task management, as well as reception log. As more and more people are coming back into the offices, there's a request to make some enhancements around the reception log functionality, so that's going in as well. And then another item that we talked about in the spring around text messages, there was confusion around the campaign name of CalSource. That switch to Benefits Cal is going in this month as well. And then I do want to make one other special mention. This is something we'll carry forward to PSC. So as you may recall, San Diego County had a disaster CalFresh operation stemming from the flooding in late January. One of the things we've been doing with San Diego County, thank you very much to Alberto and the staff, is we did a retrospective around the disaster CalFresh operations. This was actually one of the first operations in several years where supplements were issued to existing households. And we basically went through the entire phases of the effort from planning to pre-application, application, post-processing, and looked at what worked well, what didn't work well. And coming out of that, the project has a number of actions. We're re-looking at training materials and making sure they're refreshed and up to date. We've made some changes around enabling disaster CalFresh in the training environment in the future if counties want to train staff in advance. We know, I think, San Diego started with 100 staff supporting the operation. I think they scaled very quickly to about 400. So we're actually going to develop a comprehensive checklist as well with CDSS that's listing out all these kind of planning decisions that a county can go through as they're ready for that operation. And then one of the very important items, there was a number of policy clarifications that came out of this operation as well. And we just met yesterday with CDSS to walk through some of those items. CDSS consortium, CWDA, working through some considerations, some clarifications. So more to come on this as we move forward. We do have a couple of enhancements planned as well that will help with that operation. So we will be talking as we move forward with the project steering committee on this. But I did want to raise that for awareness that we did appreciate the feedback from San Diego County, and we are trying to move forward. As we know, many counties may have to operate disaster CalFresh in the future. If we go to the next, actually, I can't go yet. I need to talk about August for a minute. So you'll see there, the beginning of August is when we typically run the California Necessities Index increase, CNNI, for our child welfare programs. So last week, the county's CWDA consortium received the draft policy, and there was a lot of discussion and concern that has been raised because in reviewing the draft numbers, the FFA rates have decreased. So, you know, we want to make sure that we can run this COLA before we run main payroll. So, you know, we don't create any overpayments that the counties will then have to work. So this is really hot off the press. I know Michelle is on at this. She has been reaching out to the state. The state came back yesterday and said they're 99% confident that the draft numbers will not change. I know we've had discussions over the years about, do we work on draft, do we run on draft? It's a very fine line. I believe there's only one signature outstanding. We are going to, you know, mobilize the team to attempt to get a plan in place to run it before main payroll runs at the end of the month for our child welfare programs for the counties. As soon as we get that plan in place, we will be working, you know, probably have a committee meeting. We want to get that message out, talk to the counties. We know that there are some slightly different processes for some counties, so we do want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to look at that and understand some of the changes that we're making to get this run before the end of the month. So I do want to highlight that. There's more to come, and we'll be working with the county staff on that. We can go to the next slide now. Just some quick highlights. This slide is actually old from a system test perspective for our July release. We just cracked to 90%, tested and passed, so making good progress there. County validation is also getting towards the end. I think they're over 70% executed and passed, and that is wrapping up next week. As we move forward, we do have the webcast coming up with the counties, and then green light before, I'm assuming green light, we deploy the code on the weekend of the 20th, available the 22nd. From a release perspective, you did hear me talk, I think 2 meetings ago, we talked about we have conducted the release readiness discovery sessions with the counties. We had four sessions. We're compiling those results. So we covered things from release notes, webcasts. So we got some great feedback from your staff. We're aggregating that and looking at ways we can, you know, modify that communication to meet the needs of the counties. We've already made some changes as it relates to the webcast and how we kind of aggregate content. There's always a lot of material that people would like to see in that webcast. So we're making some facilitation and structural changes there to support some of the county input. And I believe that was my last slide.
Lisa, you had said that it was 90+%
yes.
executed and passed. Is that an update to that number, or is that number?
That's correct. That number was as when the slides put together earlier last week. Real time. Gave you real time.
Real time data. I like that. Any comments or questions from our board member state partners on this presentation? Any public comment? Okay, before we move on, You did highlight how important it is to try to see if we can get this aligned for the month end before the payroll runs. I know that happens on COLAs as well, and we have to really try to make those. So just keeping everybody very updated continuously on that. If there's escalation needed or if there's things that need to be done with the state, we need to exercise those because they do impact them. So thank you for noting that. Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on to the next item.
All right, Lynn, giving us the benefits pal update.
Good morning, Julia. I will start and team
Oh,
up with-
Honor.
Yeah, I will. So good morning, everyone. We will start the beneficial highlights this morning with the recent and upcoming system improvements. And what you see on the slide is just our outline of the key items delivered recently in May and what is coming up this month in June and next month in the July release. And in terms of the key highlights, since we met last time in May, release 2405 was deployed to production on May 30th with series of items. And the key highlight here is a further improvement to the case linking MFA functionality was delivered, allowing customers to use the phone channel for the MFA. That will simplify the use and giving customers the ability to receive the verification link in a text message. So this improvement was delivered on May 30th, along with a series of OCM activities such as a YouTube video, webinars for counties and CBO, support materials, flyer, and a hypercare call following the implementation to support the counties. And this month, if you look at this month, for the month of June, we have been working with our UCD stakeholders, county, state partners, advocate partners, and CWDA. And with their input, we are targeting to implement and re-enable the C5 qualify intent chatbot this month in June with the release on the June 30th. And as we look forward to the next month, for the month of July, there is a series of improvements coming up. But the one item to highlight for our JPA board is a collaboration model prioritize enhancement coming up for the document upload feature. Which is one of the most commonly used functionalities in that application. And we will be adding a unique confirmation code for customers once a document or image is uploaded. So this will provide additional assurance to the customers that their document or image is uploaded successfully and also help with the tracking. Lynn, anything that you want to add for this slide, for the highlights?
No, thank you, Honor. I think you covered them.
Oh, perfect, thank you. So the next slide, please. So as you look forward, as you can see, there is a series of items that we have been tracking from the UCD research standpoint for the upcoming improvements. These are primarily based on what we have been hearing from the customers, UCD CX channels, as well as our stakeholders and the counties. And we already started the ABOD research, which we have a dedicated slide coming up. We are going to talk more detail on that. And additionally, UCD research is in progress for a series of items I listed out here, including customer dashboard related improvements, document upload, case linking, account management has been still a priority for us, helping counties for the duplicate applications coming in, updating the applications, renewable SAR7 tracker, adding a EBT card replacement tracker for customers. So all of these are in the works right now. And on the right-hand side, you see kind of an overview of the policy items which are coming up and we will be working pretty soon. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, next we will briefly talk about ABOD and the timeline and what we have done so far towards the implementation. As you may know, ABOD, which stands for Able-Bodied Adults Without Dependents, there are some rules around the eligibility for Call Fresh program based on the policy, unless the customer meets certain criteria for exemptions. And we will be adding some new features to the Beneficial application based on the latest policy. And for this implementation, we had kicked off the UCD research activities recently and met with the subject matter experts around the counties, CWDA, state partners, stakeholders, and advocates. And of course, this DIU as well. And as we look forward, we will be closely engaged with our stakeholders and the customers to complete the UCD research, review the findings on the proposed design this summer. Lynn, anything that you want to add for the ABOD?
Yes, so we're bringing this forward for everybody because we wanted to share that the activities that we've initiated to add this functionality is going to involve a lot of folks because it is going to be a change for both counties and for our customers in being able to see the able-bodied adults without dependents, you know, the CalFresh program, as far as any of the time that they have used under their time limits. This is functionality that we had postponed from original go live, partially because of the statewide waiver and also that there was a lot of other priority items at the time to move forward. So this is an effort to pick up that piece to add that functionality into Benefits Cal, where they'll be able to see their time limits. There's also the functionality is to address the exemptions in working with you know, they can be able to request other exemptions. But mostly we wanted to say that this is going to be several months of activities. We've engaged SEIU, we have CWDA, we've tapped and we have utilized some county resources, ones that have prior ABOD experience, which we all know is getting rarer and rarer. But we are working on this being a collective effort. This one is a little bit different in, you know, meeting all of our requirements for our stakeholder engagement as we move forward so that we can move along jointly. So again, we will keep you periodically updated, but it will be an impact for both our customers and for county staff as we move forward and bring this up.
Thank you, Lynn. Michael, this was our last slide for this section. I will hand it back to you for any questions.
I do have more of a general question than some of the specifics you guys provided updates on. That's on Benefits Cal, just in terms of strategies that the project has on increasing usage. I'd really like to kind of know how we're going about doing that, because that's something that it seems to have sort of plateaued or tapered off a little bit, especially for LA County. And I want to know, like, what are we doing to try to bolster that? Our board office asks quite frequently about you know, what we're doing about trying to get more and more people on Benefits Cal, so that way they can benefit from some of the functionality that I share with them that we've implemented, but yet our percentage of enrollments sort of low compared to the eligible folks that could actually be using it.
Thank you, Michael. I will start and I will hand it over to Lynn. So there are a couple of things. So number one, we are closely monitoring, as you said, the usage and the adoption of the Benefits Cal, and two pieces. One is we are looking into what are the commonly used features as well as the relatively lessly utilized functionalities of Benefits Cal. And then second, overall usage from the login activities and the core functions of the Benefits Cal, which is already being heavily used. So one of the key strategies is based on these metrics that we have, planning out to work with the counties to come up with maybe a continuation to the communication, like marketing campaigns, to increase the awareness for the customers. Maybe another way, because you may remember we have done twice, to continue that engagement with working with the counties. And that's number one. And number two is identifying those segments of the customer who are relatively lessly, utilizing certain features that they could use instead of going to counties in person. So how we can increase their, usage for online channel for Benefits Cal. So those are the two pieces that we are right now working with Lynn and consortium to get a game plan together for next steps.
Okay, can I also suggest that you create a outreach piece to the individuals who are not engaging in it at all at this point, to find out why and what things might make them engage, because I do think that's a question I cannot respond to, and I want to be able to, in terms of really trying to find out the reasons why some individuals are not using it. And you guys have a pretty good UCD process, but how can something like that be leveraged for inquiring for non-users at this point of Benefits Cal, and what would actually bring them in? What would get them to use it? I mean, there's going to be some semblance of individuals who will never want to use it, but we need to be able to separate that from ones that are not doing it for a reason that could be mitigated.
And Michael, one thing I'll add to, there are ways that we have heard through interviews, how people become aware of benefits val. So for the folks that are using it, we've heard largely that it's come from county workers that have told them about it, that is the best method of communication and outreach that has been out there, including the community-based organizations are the two big ones. As part of that outreach, one of the things that we want to understand is how do you know about benefits val as well? Because if it doesn't have, excuse me, the reach and the brand, that is something that we need to address to make sure that people actually know that it's even out there. Because some of it may be usage, but others is just general awareness that it exists too. So we need to tackle it from both aspects.
Yeah, and the general awareness one, I'm more familiar with. I mean, that's something that we'll have to continue. I want to focus on what we haven't done.
Yeah.
And haven't tapped into, because there's a piece there that we're just not really able to answer very well. No matter how many campaigns we put out, we sort of top off. And there's something there that I want to get at, and I want to find out what that is. There's some elements of what Benefits Cal offers that could be tremendously helpful for people with renewals, like basically being able to see your renewal date, see it in advance. There's no other way anybody would be able to do that if they lost their paperwork or they haven't been able to find it. And the only solution we have right now is Benefits Cal, but they don't have counts. So I just want to look at it from a more global perspective. It's not just about a convenience, it's also about really helping them keep their benefits.
Yeah.
And primarily the only platform that can do that.
And we'll also work with our partners at Code for America too. The conversion rate of folks that start applying but then don't come and create accounts on Benefits Cal, there's an opportunity there that we need to figure out how to transition those individuals so that they come to Benefits Cal going forward. Yep.
Well, thank you. That'll be a shared goal of mine, and how we do our goals for the execs in LA County. So that'll be a goal of ours too, which is to try to figure out how we can increase usage here.
Well, even like the chatbot that we're re-enabling on Do I Qualify, right? Like that could make a process very easy for an individual, so these whole, all these things that they're missing out on, beneficiaries and applicants.
Yeah.
That are using benefits.
Yeah, I like that idea. That could actually be maybe just the pathway in.
Yeah.
Could be eased.
Yeah.
For individuals who aren't as adept at navigating technology, that they can shove the link through something like a bot. That might be a great way. Yeah. All right, great. Open up to any comments or questions from our board member state partners.
Michael?
Yes, Mike.
Thanks. I was just noticing that we didn't get an ROI update today, and wondering where we're at with that.
There's no letter. We haven't received the letters yet, so that's been by intentional. There's no update. We're still waiting on the state. Sorry.
Good to say.
The update is there's no update. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and I know we generally have some of our state partners on as well, and I know that that's an important set of functionality for advocates, for CBOs, for the state, for the counties, and we put a lot of work into it. So we really do need to try to dovetail into some target dates on when that will actually start to go live. So just going to put that that marker out there.
For sure. Yeah, we heard it was supposed to be this week, and we're eagerly waiting for that so we can start. We're ready to do that gap analysis. So we can jump right in.
Create a timeline.
Create a timeline.
Okay, thanks Marla for checking on that one. Any other comments or questions from our board member state partners? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. The next item up, I believe, is DEI.
Yeah, we have, Ashley Arnold. I was gonna say Arnold. What? I'm not doing that. Ashley Arnold is going to be giving our DEI.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving us this time today. We just have a couple of quick slides to update you on what's been happening with the IDEA program recently. This ERG quarterly meeting, we really wanted to focus together all the ERGs on mental health awareness. So several of the ERGs put out some information on their group specifically as far as mental health. We also had a really wonderful session with Noé Avila. He is a licensed MFT, and he gave us a great session for those who attended, talking about recognizing burnout, how you can deal with stress. And it was just a really great session to come and learn some tools for how to have work-life balance and really deal when those stressful times come. So it was a really well-received session. We were so thankful to have him. We also had a great table talk by Eamon. He gave us a wonderful session about character strengths, which was really recognizing the different strengths that you have and how you can use them in your personal life and your professional life, communicating. It was wonderful. He did a great job. We also launched the new round of the Buddy program. We had 24 new joiners, 20 mentors, 34 mentees. We had a kickoff, and of course the goals are networking, career growth, advancement, and also just fostering those relationships at CalSAWS. We are looking at the Pulse survey. It's a really good time to take a look at it. What we're hoping to do is simplify that a bit and really get at those core things that we like to measure. So we will be working on that and then working with leadership to develop a timeline for when we can put that together and get it out. Our CalSAWS Connect newsletter is now bi-monthly. So if you wanted to see any of the information that the ERG's put out about Mental Health Awareness Month, some of that will be included as well. Next slide, please. Going forward, what we'd really like to do and focus on is, of course, keep that Buddy program going. We've got a check-in scheduled for sometime in September, and we have hoping to plan an end round celebration around the holidays to really see how things went for folks, learn how their experience was with the program, and see what we can do to improve it for next time. We'd like to focus on our table talks and really have a goal of getting like a nice reserve of topics to have, because that's always a struggle is making sure folks have the time and attention to prepare a table talk and put it together. We'd like to get several kind of on the back burner so that we've always got something to present. They are such a valuable tool for people to share experiences and connect. So we do want to prioritize that as well. Our ERG Council, we have moved to quarterly meetings. We would like to find ways to incentivize participation, whether that's recognition or special learning sessions, to really help those folks that do all that good work keep it going and feel the appreciation they deserve. And like I spoke before, we will be looking at the Pulse survey to make sure that's aligning with our DEI goals and shoot for either a biannual or an annual deployment. So in summary, we are wanting to continue our current initiatives and really focus on creating that sense of belonging at CalSAWS. So that's all I have for you. I will turn it back to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Any comments or questions from our board member state partners on our DEI update? Hearing none. Any public comment? Hearing none. We'll go ahead and move on to I believe it might be our last item.
Yes. Tom is going to give a procurement update.
Yes, we're doing well in terms of our Benefits Cal procurement. We have 109 questions, and 47 of them came in on Tuesday, the last day to ask questions. There's quite a bit of interest, and we're on schedule, on target, and selecting our evaluators. In terms of the appeal, we do have a hearing date set for August 30th, and then the appeal review panel has 20 days after that to render their decisions. That's the procurement update. Michael?
Thank you, Tom. Great. All right. Any comments or questions from our board member state partners on procurement? Okay, any public comment? Hearing none. Okay, great. So I didn't jinx us after all. We actually are coming in here a little early, so I didn't want to say anything till the last second. It can always go left field. Well, I do want to reiterate what a great year we've had. Getting every county and the state launched on CalSAWS and all of us working now together and pulling all in the same direction. This has been a tremendous successful project because of the leadership at the county level and the leadership that's participated in the JPA. And I want to keep encouraging directors to stay involved in this, because this is a way for us to deal with some of the challenges that we have at the county level. For instance, the tremendous budget challenges we were facing just a few weeks ago, and got some relief on that. That's great. I can breathe a sigh of relief on that one. I know all of you can as well, because it was going to hit us in a $100+ million range in LA County alone in CalWorks. So if I could do a jump and hooray, I would do it. But I do know that that's not the end of those kind of things that are going to be coming our way, which means we need to make the most of our innovative platforms and being able to really help, because this is an assistive tool for our workers, and we need to keep looking at ways for CalSAWS to help us deliver our services more effectively to the public, and also be able to contend with the challenges that we have budgetarily and resource-wise. So your input is critical to that. So I want to thank you for your involvement, and also for anybody who re-upped or who's new coming into the board. We'll have exciting meetings for you and interesting things for us to pursue together. So thank you all. Our next meeting is scheduled for Friday, July 12th, back in the morning at 9 again. And without further ado, I guess that will adjourn our meeting, and enjoy the rest of your guys' Thursday. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Have a nice weekend, everyone.